Hey guys, Colin here. So today we're going to be doing a quick tutorial on how to dual boot Kali Linux on a Windows laptop. So the things you're going to need are a Windows laptop, of course, a 4GB USB drive at least, a Kali Linux ISO image, and then Rufus. And then we're going to be putting these links below, so please go to the description for this. So first off, we're going to the Rufus website, as you can see here. And then we're going to be downloading this program. So this is basically the program that is going to be burning this onto your USB drive to create the bootable USB. So we're going to be downloading this. I have already downloaded it, so that's why I'm just hovering it over here. But this version was 3.4. And also, just to mention something, we're going to be doing this guide pretty quickly today. So if you feel the need at all, just pause the guide and catch up. So now we're on the Kali Linux website. You're going to be clicking on the one that is for you. So we're going to be deciding between the 64-bit and the 32-bit. Here I'm getting the 64-bit. Just get the normal one, forget these other options, and then you're going to download this. This is going to be about 3 GB, so it's going to take a little bit of while. So pause the video and then we'll see you back when it's downloaded. So you're going to download both of these and then open up Rufus. So once we're on Rufus, we're going to select the drive once the USB drive is inserted, and then we're going to go and find the ISO image, and then select the same options that I have here. So as you can see, just pause the video, just make sure in the same options, and then we're going to hit start. And this is the most important thing of the process, because I have actually reached I spent hours trying to figure out what I did wrong here. And you have to write it to a DD image and not an ISO image. I know you're thinking it's an ISO file, so why don't I write it to that? But this becomes a real problem when you're going to go into the actual configuration. So now we're going to be powering off the computer, and then we're going to be inserting the USB. But before you power off the computer, go and look up your model and figure out how to get into the boot manager on your computer. So it's different for every computer. For mine, it was for HP that I was using, it was you just press the escape key. So you're going to go and you're going to get into this boot manager. So you're going to turn the computer on. For example, I hit the escape key repeatedly, and then you're going to boot into this boot manager. So for these next images, because of the fact that I was booting this and installing off the USB, I was not able to run the screen recorder. So please forgive me, I had to take pictures of the screen. I will do my best to describe what is going on here, and I have included some text on the screen that will hopefully point you in the right direction. And then something also is that some of these screens do change over time, but I'm filming this on December 31st, 2018, so I'm going to be posting this on January 1st, 2019. So this will be the most updated version out there. So just keep that in mind, the date that you're watching this on. So when we reach the boot manager, we're gonna select boot device options. That's F9 for me. And then we're going to be running through some screens, so just follow along with me. This could be different based on your computer, but the same idea. Then we're going to be selecting which boot drive. So I'm selecting the USB drive. So as you can see, it says Staples on it. And then there we are. So we've reached the Kali boot screen. So if you were running this, if you weren't looking to create a partition and actually do a full dual boot, you can just boot into a live system. But this isn't what we're going to do today, because when you run this live system, every time you go off and turn it off, it deletes all your progress. So we want to create a persistent system on here. So we're going to be going down a few rows down. You see the Start Installer button. So we're going to be clicking on the Start Installer button. And then we're just going to run through some of the Kali Linux pages. So select your language and then all the other screens that apply to you. so your country. And then this is just the general setup. And then we're gonna get into some more of the detail later after this part, but it is important after this part to really follow along step by step, because it is very easy to get lost after this basic setup part. So it's going to be searching for your disk, and the reason before how I mentioned to only boot from the DD drive and not the ISO drive is because when I was going through this, it wasn't able to find the drive, so I had to reset up the USB to boot from the DD drive. So if you're reaching that problem, please go back, please boot from the DD drive in Rufus, and then reach up to this point again in the video. So then you're just going to select your wireless or Ethernet connection. And then after this, it goes to select your Wi-Fi setup, and I didn't include that slide because I included some information of mine. And then, so this is the part where you need to pay attention. We're going to be doing the partitioning disk part. So just for the simplicity of this tutorial, and so I'm not responsible for messing anyone's memory up, basically, I advise you to go through the automatic setup, the guided setup through Kali instead of creating a partition on your own, because it is completely possible, and be advised that you can overwrite some important stuff on your computer with this setup. So just go through the guided setup. If you really know your stuff, then you can go and create a manual partition. So in this screen, I had highlighted manual partition, but you can go through and click on the second option here, guided, use entire disk. And then it's just basically giving you a warning, and you're gonna click yes. Okay, now we have 2 more options to go to finalize this setup. I don't have pictures of these, but they're just yes or no questions basically. So you're gonna be presented with the option yes or no to set up a network mirror. So if you know this right now, you can set it up, or you can click no and you can enable it later, so don't worry about that. That's not really a problem. And then next, it will ask you to install the Kali bootloader. You can choose the hard disk on the second option, and so first you'll choose yes, and then the next screen will ask which one you want to use. So you'll choose the hard disk, second option. Otherwise, after you install Kali Linux, the system will not display the option to choose the operating systems when you start up. So this is an important one. And then after the successful completion of this process, you can see a screen that basically just says finish the installation. And then from this point, you're going to eject the USB drive and restart your system. And then during the startup, you're going to see the grub bootloader of Kali Linux. And then here you can choose from the Kali Linux, or else you can choose the Windows recovery environment to boot into Windows 10. So if you've reached this spot, you've made it, and thanks for following along with this tutorial. If you have any questions, concerns, or if this video needs any additional steps that you've encountered or any problems, please make sure to comment them, and I will add the necessary stuff to the video or the description. Thanks for checking out my content. If you like this video, please don't forget to subscribe and like this video.